Hello, everyone. Welcome to my Teams Governance Part 1 series. My name is Fahad. I'm the founder of Cloudinate Technologies. We are a Microsoft partner, very focused on helping customers to adopt M365 in Azure. Uh, Teams is exploding. There are millions of users now on Microsoft Teams, and hence, of course, Teams governance becomes extremely important and should be on the front line of all the M365 administrators, right? So in the part 1, I'm going to cover a specific topic, which is about who in your organization should be able to create teams, right? So there are a few questions which keep coming to us on the field from customers, and here are a few. Can you help me with Teams governance? How do we manage teams at scale, right? Can you help me with a checklist on all the settings I should look at to get started with teams? So let me deep dive into showing you, a specific feature to start with that's covered in part 1 right now, and slowly I will cover the entire governance on teams in different short videos. So before we jump into configuring anything into Teams, we need to understand a very significant aspect of Teams, which is Office 365 group, right? So for some of you already may know this, but it is important before we move on that everyone understands that Microsoft Teams is really a fancy user interface for Office 365 groups. That's how I would put it. It has a ton of amazing features, but in reality, there is no data that is stored in Teams, and memberships are managed by Azure AD, where the identity is Office 365 groups. So, so moving forward, anytime I mention Teams, you should know that it goes hand in hand with Office 365 groups. So to manage Teams, you must understand this concept really, really well. Um, Although this specific video is not about what Office 365 groups are, you can of course go ahead, search for it, and read more. But in a nutshell, everything what you see in Teams has backend Office 365 group as an identity attached to it. Office 365 groups are also used in different M365 services, which are Outlook, Yammer, SharePoint, Planner, Stream, Forms, Dynamics CRM, and Power BI. It's also centrally managed, and it can also it's also extensible with Microsoft Graph and Connector. But this is uh, beyond the topic today, right? So right now, today I'm going to talk specifically about who in your organization should be able to create teams, right? So some of the customers embrace self-service capabilities for teams, allowing all their users to create teams at will, right? However, it can be overwhelming. There can be unnecessary teams created. There can be duplicate teams created, and even inappropriate teams which are created, right? So there's a bigger question: who should be allowed in an organization to create a team? And most of the customers I see that settle on people's managers who can have the ability to create teams. Uh, Although you can still go ahead and do self service, but again, as I mentioned, it can be very, very overwhelming, and a lot of teams can be will be created, right? So let me directly jump in to a demo and show you what is the way an M365 admin or a Teams admin can go ahead and control who can create a Microsoft team, right? So let me directly jump into the demo. So the first things first, what I do, right, is I go to my M365 admin center. I go to admin and I go on to groups and create a security group. Now, a security group will be used to control who can actually, have access to creating teams. So to save time, I have already created a security group, and I have named it Allow 365 a group creation, and I have also made a few members. You see that I'm the owner of this group, and there are a couple of members here, myself and one more user is a member of this group, right? So what I want really here is that only these two users in the organization should be able to go to Teams and create a new team. Now, before I move any further, let me jump into the what do I mean by creating a team, right? So I go to a Teams tab. You see that there's an option to join and create a team. When I click on join and create a team, I get another option where I can click on create a team, and I can either create a team from scratch, which is build a team from scratch, or I can go and create a team from an existing Office 365 group or team. Right now, I do not want anybody to go ahead and build a team, so I'm going to disable that option and only make sure that two of the users in the organization, like I mentioned, should be able to do that, right? So going back to M365 Admin Center, I go back and I'll just copy the name of the security group which I just created. I will need it uh, really soon. So what you can do is you can go ahead and run a PowerShell script. Before I do that, I will open in PowerShell ISE console. You can see that there's a script here. You don't need to worry about writing that script. Microsoft has already given you that script. And let me quickly show you an article where you can see that specific script, right? So give me a moment to open that. Yeah, so if you see that there's a article which says manage who can create Office 365 groups. If I scroll down, uh, you see that the step one is to create a security group, which I've already done, and the step two is run some PowerShell commands. It mentions to uninstall an existing Azure AD module in PowerShell and install a new Azure AD preview module, which I've already done. And then if you scroll a little further down, you will see that there is a script already given. So you just need to copy that and run that script. There are a few changes in the script you need to make. I'll show you what are those changes. So let me go back to a PowerShell ISE console. You see that in the group name, you will have to actually go back and paste the group name with the security group which you created. In our case, we created allow Office 365 group creation and change the allow group creation value to false. Right? Let me save this script. Once I do that, I can go ahead and run the script. Right? It will ask me for a login. I will use my administrator account. In this case, I'm using a global admin, which I am. Let me use a password here. So in a moment, the script runs successfully. There are a few things you need to note. Once you see that enable group creation, the value is false, which means that the script has successfully run. You can also go ahead and see what is the group ID and the group ID value, right? So I can see that I have run this command successfully, which means that moving forward, only the members of the security group will be able to create a team, right? Because I'm able to create a team, as you see here, right? So, but let me show you from a different user's perspective who is not a member of the security group. So let me sign out and quickly sign in with another user. So give me a moment to do that. Give me a moment so that it can log in. Yeah, so I'm now logged in with a different user, if you see, which is not a member of the security group. If I go back and go here in Teams tab and click on join or create a team, you see that the user does not get any option to create a new team, right? So this is how I can control who in the organization can really go ahead and create a team. Uh, if I need to roll back, it's really, really simple. I go back to the script, I remove the value of the group name, and I change allow group creation to true, save the script, and run the script. Once I do that, I will start allowing everybody in the organization to create a teams. Um, so I hope you enjoyed the session and you learned how to control who can create a team. Um, Thank you so much for watching.